Yeah. Aye. Lionel and Patrick, what a pair, thinking outside the box. They don't play fair, unconventional ways, breaking all the rules, making their own path, never following the fools. Unconventional playbook, rewriting the game. Lionel and Patrick, they'll never be the same, dancing to their own beat in a world so plain. Unconventional playbook, they're here to entertain. Lionel's a dreamer with stars in his eyes. Patrick's a schemer with tricks in disguise. Together they're unstoppable, a force to be reckoned with. Their unconventional playbook, they'll never be second. Unconventional playbook, rewriting the game. Lionel and Patrick, they'll never be the same, dancing to their own beat in a world so plain. Unconventional playbook, they're here to entertain. Against all odds they stand tall, through highs and lows they never fall. Lionel and Patrick, a duo so rare, with their unconventional playbook, they're always there. Unconventional playbook, rewriting the game. Lionel and Patrick, they'll never be the same, dancing to their own beat in a world so plain. Unconventional playbook, they're here to entertain.
Powered by Riverside FM.
Welcome to another edition of Unconventional Playbook with my guy in the house, Patrick Buchanan. Pat, what's up, man? How's your day been going?
My day's good, man, right? It's a Friday, pretty smooth sailing day, so no complaints over here, right? It's another
Friday in
it's the
September.
weekend.
What's that?
I said it's another weekend made it too.
Yes, sir. Fridays in September, man, the weather is getting a little bit crisp. You got high school football, you got college football on Saturdays, and you got the NFL on Sundays. Man, this is my favorite time of year.
Oh, yeah, it's favorite time of year. I get to kick my feet up tomorrow, nothing on the agenda. Get to enjoy some college football, enjoy some of the games, and then Sunday comes around. We already know what Sunday's about.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're going to spend some time just previewing the Vikings game. Nothing extensive, but talk about the game, things that we think we're going to see on Sunday. And then we got what everybody's been waiting for all week long. We got our second round of Patrick's picks. I know he's been looking at these things all week, watching those money lines. He and I have already had some conversations about a few things. And then on top of Patrick's picks, we'll throw out a Lionel lock. I did pretty good last week. I think I got another lock for everybody today. So we will get to that. So stick around to get Patrick's picks towards the end of the broadcast. But let's talk about the Vikings first. Obviously, we got the San Francisco 49ers coming to town. Second year in a row, the 49ers will be visiting Minneapolis. And I think I saw a stat, and don't quote me on this, but I know I'm close. Said the San Francisco 49ers, they haven't won in Minnesota since like 1994, I think the date was. I know it's been a long time. I think it's either 1992 or 1994. So it's been a while. And I know they were heavy favorites coming into the game last year, and we spanked that ass last year. So I'm expecting us to do the same thing on Sunday. Any thoughts right off the bat about this game, Pat? You got, McCaffrey may be playing, maybe he's not playing. Debo, who didn't play last year, he's back. Obviously, we got Jets back. So what are your thoughts just about the game coming up on Sunday?
Well, there's, the biggest injuries is he's officially out, Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, he's officially out?
He's officially out, and
Okay.
you got Jordan who's officially out, Jordan Addison. So those are, both ends, they're both officially out. Now that we got Mason on tape, right, there's things that the Jets weren't ready for, but we'll be ready for, I feel like. I'm always going to hang the hat on what we can do defensively. Like Shanahan likes to run the ball. If we force you a pass game, I think there's some things that we can do. But once again, I think it's not just Bosa, it's the whole front four. The offensive line will get tested again up front. And early on, we had the struggles over there in New York. And if they can ease into it right away, that can be good for us. I always love letting the defense go on the field first, and build that, and then get the ball in the second half. It's going to be a chess match, right? It's going to be a chess match amongst both teams. This is one of them games where, if it's like a, single score game, and we lose it, whatever, if it's single score game, we win it, right? Then, okay, my picks, for the preseason picks for them, right, go out the window. But I mean, it's a tough battle. It could be with the things that are happening in Green Bay right now, and if this defense is what it is, and Sam Darnold can continue us and Aaron Jones, it could be an NFC Championship game preview, right? I mean, what's to say it's not? We don't know what it's going to look like for 17 weeks, but
Right.
we know after week one what it could look like. So I think this is a good battle for both teams. Both teams are playing better. Like both of us played less than what they are teams. All camp long I heard about, right? We love being the underdog and people not talking about us when it came to the Minnesota Vikings, right? And that's like that showed in week one. Like I was like, oh man, Ivan Pace, why is you talking junk, right? But then they showed up, right? So if they had this mentality of that, and they all coming out to perform on offense, defense, and special teams, then it probably should be a pretty good game played out there. Once again, as I've talked about all summer long, last year was a 7-10 team. You got better players, I believe. This year roster is better than it was, and we were just 2 years removed away, not last year, but the year before, from winning the division and having an 11, 12-win record. So,
Yeah, that's a great
um,
point.
so I'm excited to see, right? Everyone knows that the San Francisco 49ers have, like, this is their last hurrah. This is a, Super Bowl caliber NFC championship type team. So let's see what we are early on against them. This is the start of the stretch that we've heard about since the
Yeah.
schedule came out.
The gauntlet. The
So
gauntlet.
this is that start. So what can we do in this moment? Once again, it's going to be about our defense and our offensive line in it, right? And just, the consistency I talked about in the last podcast of Sam Darnold. We can't be 3 or 10s on third down, right? That's just not going to happen against this team. This is not the New York Giants. This is San Francisco 49ers, right?
Yeah, but I think I think you mentioned something really good. You talked about the running game, and I think the defensive line, at the front seven of the Minnesota Vikings, they're definitely going to be tested. I think there's two misconceptions when it comes to the San Francisco 49ers, in my opinion, is that, Kyle Shanahan has this high-flying offense. He likes to throw the ball a lot. That's a myth. He likes to run the football, and whether McCaffrey plays or not, that's going to be the game plan. So the Vikings, I think it would be, incumbent to them to be able to stop that running game and then put the ball in the hands of Brock Purdy to have to make plays. Now, personally, I'm a little bit higher on Brock Purdy than most people. People try to label him a system quarterback, and I think a lot of that is just a perspective because he was drafted as Mr. Irrelevant in the NFL draft. So people have a hard time looking at him as a great quarterback. Now, I'm not saying he's a great quarterback, but over the years that he's been in the league, when he's healthy, whether he's a system quarterback or not, he gets the job done. But I think if the Minnesota Vikings do a really good job of stopping that run game, where next level Shanny is start calling plays and he starts to try to run that ball down the Vikings' throat, if they can stop that, then the San Francisco 49ers become one-dimensional. And I think that's where B-Flow can really tee off and start messing with the head of Brock Purdy. And I think if he does that, man, I think the Minnesota Vikings have a really good chance to win the game, because now the Vikings can just tee off and come at Brock Purdy.
Oh, 100%, right? That's where it's going to start, in the trenches, right? And like I said, for them, that's great what Mason did in game one, but you gave us film, right? And
Yeah.
he's going to go back and look at film in last year of when we played you, and you're going to look at it, but we're going to look at what you did this year. And,
Yep.
I just think he's got the guys up front to stop that run game, right?
Yeah.
Against the Jets, right? It was like the Red Sea out there for Mason. Mason was out there just running all over him. I was like, dang.
Yep.
So if he can limit them to not getting the 25, touches for Mason, and now you're putting it on Brock Purdy to throw the ball 30 plus times, then I think that's advantage Minnesota all day long, right? Yeah, people can talk about our backs, but it's the pressure that we can bring to Brock and get in his face, because
Yes.
we know his timing with Ayuk isn't on. Ayuk has missed. So to tee up on Debo and Kittle is helpful and advantage in Minnesota's favor. So at this moment in week 2 of the season.
Yeah, obviously Sam Darnold also is coming off probably his best game of his career. If it's not his best game of his career, it's definitely his most efficient game of his career. He was obviously a 49er last year, so everybody's making a big deal about, well, the 49ers know his tendencies. You know, they had him in practice. They know where his weaknesses are. That may be true. That, you know, there's a little bit of truth to that. But also, Sam Darnold went up against that defense every day. And he knows the philosophy of Kyle Shanahan. He had the headset on in a lot of games, so he knows the tendency of the head coach, what he likes to do in certain situations. That is valuable information for the Minnesota Vikings, especially San Francisco coming off a short week playing on Monday Night Football. How big of a deal is it, you know, either way, that both of these teams have some intel on each other? Is it a big deal? Do you think it's going to make a big difference in the game on Sunday?
You know, I think for the defense, it makes the big deal,
Yeah.
right? What he can share about the offense, but and I'll say it's both defenses, right? For them as a defense, right? They've seen Sam, but Sam has also grown, right? You are the
Yep.
same 49ers team that, you know, was the hot team to start last year and then hit a stretch, which it was part of the stretch 4-game losing streak where you lost to us as well. So we know that you're vulnerable. You're coming off that Super Bowl. You want it so bad, but you know, you guys went. They didn't have the adversity we had. They had more negative adversity than we had, where ours was like heartfelt, like tragedy adversity, right?
Yeah.
So I just think that we became a stronger minded team, and the things that we had to deal with, right? And don't get me wrong, Ricky Parcells, right, defending himself and being shot. I'm not talking about that piece, right? I'm talking
Yeah.
about the holdouts from Trent and Ayuk and the circus with that, where ours was less of a circus and more of, you know, how to battle through things. And I just feel like it comes down, can we run it again? How does Sam really look? Like, I'm one of them people, and I learned this from you, right? And what I learned from you is like you can't, like, as much as I put my heart and soul into it when it comes to Minnesota Vikings players, like I remember before KOC got here, me and you used to argue about Kurt, right?
Yeah.
And then I came to a reality, and then when KOC came, I said, you know, it's different than Zim. Maybe he has this guy that can do it, right? And then, you know, all season, you know, I was like fighting, and you was just letting me know, okay, nah, I still can see it within him. And then that Giants game, you know, we need 11. He throws for 3 yards, right? I'll say it all day till I'm, you know, from that moment, I could never watch that man and cheer for him. It made me tough to watch the team that I love to watch. So what I'm saying by saying that is I just, not that I'm saying Sam isn't, because I think Sam has a lot better tools than 26-year-old, 27-year-old Kirk Cousins. But you know, I think the system that we have for him, I just want to see the consistency before I don't want to jump up and down until I see more games.
Yeah. One of the U peers sent me an email this morning, and forgive me, I can't remember the name. I believe it was Tony. He asked the question, like, what is the biggest key for the Minnesota Vikings to win this game? And I've always looked at the philosophy like this. Whenever you're playing a team that has the potential to be really dominant in a game like the San Francisco 49ers, I use the same analogy with basketball because I think it applies. I think you have to limit their possessions. And I think that's where the Vikings kind of missed the boat last year because they just didn't have a running game. They had to rely on the pass a lot. And it's hard to be a ball control team when you can't run the football, when you can't get those tough yards. I believe, in my opinion, that problem is solved this year with Aaron Jones in the backfield and our offensive line playing a whole lot better. Even though we've got some dings in the offensive line, you know, I think for the most part, we'll have our offensive line out there doing what they do. But the ability of the Vikings to be able to run the ball control a little bit. San Francisco 49ers can't score if we're not turning it over and if they can't get on offense multiple times. You know, they are a team that seems to really feed when they get a lot more possessions than the other team. When the other team is turning the ball over, going 1, 2, 3 and out, that's where the San Francisco 49ers are really dominant. So I think going into Sunday, that's a big key for the Vikings to be able to keep the ball, sustain those long drives, continue to keep the ball out of the hands of the offense, and be dominant on defense.
Yeah, well, I guess we can then say the keys for factor for both teams is going to start with the run game,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
I mean, since we continuously talking about ours, right? Right. We look at, I mean, and here's my thing, right? We were okay in it, right? In B-Flow's first year, I mean, KOC's first year,
Yep.
right? We ran the ball 26 times last week and passed the ball 24 times, right?
Yep.
So that we've never seen that within KOC. And so they know that coming in. Can we stay within that close to same balance, right? I'm okay with a 60-40, right?
Yep.
If it's 60-40 pass, right, I'll take that, right? If we're passing the ball, running the ball 25 times and we pass the ball 30 times, 30, like I'm okay with that split because we are. So I think for both teams is how trenches are going to work out for both teams. Who is going to run the ball better? Who's going to ball control better? And which defense, can get the more takeaways, right?
Right.
Who wins that battle, right? I think we had 2 takeaways last game. I mean, I know that's been a focal point for us this offseason, from last year to this year, right? If we have ball security and we can create some turnovers, which I think we are more creative and versatile to create more turnovers this year than the 49ers, right? They've
Yep.
lost some things on it because they couldn't sign everyone back. But I believe in what B-Flow has done and built over in a year in one game thus far, right? 2 off seasons, some great personnel. I just believe in what that is. Like I've said it from the get-go, and I'll say it to them, to you guys just really believe in what he's doing. I know not all of the UP believes in B-Flow. I've seen comments before or something. I've talked to people that are part of the UP. But the reality is he does have a track record for doing this, right? And if you want to look and judge from the last couple of games last year or the first couple of games, you need to look at that week 4 through week 14, because that was it real and them getting it. And then you need to look back at the last 2 years before he came of what the defense is. And if you can't believe they spent their first dollar on defense and to fix certain things, then I don't know what game you're watching.
Patrick, I'm glad you brought that up, man, because you're right. I've talked to a few people and I've gotten some comments from the UP out there, people that really don't believe in B-Flow. And I'm like, his body of work, what am I missing, Pat? How can you not believe in the body of work that B-Flow has done since day one he entered the facility to now? I mean, the defense has done nothing but improve. Hasn't been a top defense in the NFL? No. But look at the personnel that he had to deal with last year, where it was the year before, like you said, and where it is now. Like, what am I missing? What are people seeing that I'm not seeing where they're not believing in B-Flow?
I just, I mean, if people are you got to research, like you got to go look at when he got to the Dolphins, what their defense became and
Right.
progressed over that time. If you want to look at last year of the Pittsburgh Steelers, how their defense went from, in the later 20s to coming up there into the top 10. He was a part of that, right? If you want to go back and look at what the Patriots defense was, right? Under this man, how he evolves. Listen to how he talks, like when the players talk about what the defensive system is. Players you trust. Just go listen to the players you trust, right?
Right.
Who doesn't trust Harrison Smith, right? Who doesn't trust, right? Harrison Smith or Harrison Phillips, right?
Yep.
Go listen to those guys. Everyone talks about Bynum and Martellus. Listen to those guys, right? Listen to Pace, right? Look at what he's doing able to do up for. Just listen to them and listen to what they do, right? He'll try new things. He'll trash it if it don't work, right? So I mean, he was funny. He said one of the blitzes they ran was a KOC special, right? KOC threw something at him. Like the man has this open mind and is willing to try it, but he allows his players to be who they are. You're not stuck in a box. Here is our system. Here are different things we do, but you got to be you within it. And to get a locker room that after last year every guy that's in that locker room that joined in there and the like they're sharing with every free agent that came in or rookie about that, and they're all on the same page. And no matter what anyone says, or Tua or whoever, Tua, I don't even want to listen to nothing Tua said. He got too many concussions, right?
Yeah.
He don't even know what he's talking about. But
Yeah.
I hope the young man is okay. So I'm not saying that in a bad way. But man, how could you not? Like, I'm sorry. After Donatello's defense, man, and we move up, to the top 16. You tell me something, right? The run is a top 10, and your pass defense, moves up to the halfway. Like,
Right.
I don't get that. And if you want to falter the losses and stuff on the defense or whatever, nah, man, you better look at that ball. Look at our running game last year. Look at the injuries with JJ and Kirk Cousins and the quarterback carousel we had, and we went 7-10. We don't go. I'll tell you this right now: we don't go 7-10 with Donatello's defense last year with everything we went through. I can promise you that.
Yeah, without B-Flow on the sidelines last year, that year would have been a disaster, man. Look, I'm not trying to hear anything negative about B-Flow. Any of the stuff that people bring up, in terms of B-Flow and how he coaches and what he got out of the Vikings last year and his time in Miami, man, I'm not trying to hear that. I look at his body of work, and his body of work since he's been here with the Minnesota Vikings has been stellar. So if people are looking at B-Flow in a negative way, like he's not doing his job, I mean, to me, that's just somebody nitpicking, looking for something, trying to find something. The guy has done a tremendous job, and he's far from done. Like, they've had a little bit of turnover on the roster, but he doesn't have his complete bag of groceries, so to speak, on that defense yet. Wait until year 3, where now they have some money to play with in terms of the salary cap, where they can bring more pieces in. So now B-Flow really can unleash his philosophy on the defensive side of the ball. So yeah, man, I'm not really trying to hear any negative things about B-Flow. You
Yeah.
peers out there? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it. You said he doesn't have the full grocery, but he's 85% there, and that 85 is better than a lot of people's 100. And I'm gonna tell you that right now within his scheme.
Yeah. This is Unconventional Playbook. Hit that like and subscribe button. Keep the station growing. Stick around. We've got Patrick's picks coming up, so you definitely don't want to miss that. We talked about the San Francisco 49ers and their injuries, their side of the ball being injured. We also heard some injuries that the Minnesota Vikings have. Harrison Smith was limited in practice. Van Ginkel had some foot soreness. O'Neal has been limited in practice. These injuries are a big deal. Obviously, Addison is out. That's a big deal. But we got, next man up. Naylor's got to step up big. Are the injuries that you've been hearing about, like the nicks that we got, is it a big deal for the Vikings on Sunday?
Everybody's got nicks and bruises, right?
Yeah.
I'm looking across the whole NFL landscape, and I'm just like the injuries that happen. I'm like, man, a lot of y'all need to play in the preseason, right? Because these little nicks and whatever. That's the nature of the game. It's a physical game. When guys haven't played that much and they're trying to go 100% speed, you're going to get little nicks here. Gingo be okay, right? Harrison, here's the thing. Is this a make or break game? So if Harrison needed to miss a game, and you got guys that are back there like Theo and Jay Ward, you got Martellus and Bynum that's still there, right? And Theo and Jay Ward, right, can be back there all day long, or Bobby McClain, right? So I'm not worried if he needs to take one on the offensive line. I think I said to this off the air, right? And I'm gonna say it on the air. O'Neal better get his tough self in there because Walter Rouse is just waiting right there,
Oh, you know
right?
he's waiting, Pat.
Like
He's
Walter
waiting.
Rouse is waiting, and Walter
Yep.
Rouse is a big dude to move. And I would love for. I can't wait till he gets his opportunity, but I do want O'Neal because he's a veteran and it's part of the consistency, right? But you got to toughen up and get through it. And if you can't make it through it, I think we'll be okay. Like I said, our depth, I'll go back to it and I'm going to say it every week when the injury comes up, right? So our depth showed in the preseason. We showed our depth better than any team in the NFL.
Yeah.
Our depth, our
Yep.
toughness, right? So even the Addison going down, right? So once okay, now we move over to Speedy, right?
Speedy
And then
Naylor.
we got Speedy, we got Tristan Jackson, we got Powell. So what are we worried about? JJ still there. The tight
Yep.
ends were serviceable, right? We were able to catch the ball at the backfield some. So I'm not. I mean, you got building the depth is most important. If you're depending on your top 22 and you can't go deeper into your top 22 on both sides of the ball, then that's not who we are. Like I would last year and the year before, I would have been like, but they were building something, and I believe in our depth. I believe in our number twos that can step in there. Like if we were saying the entire number two class, right? Two of the depth chart, that's a different story. But to pull one person here or there, I believe in the depth and because I believe in our anchors of the team.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things that we probably need to look at. We mentioned those injuries. Speedy Naylor is going to step in. Pyle's going to step in. Expect Aaron Jones to be more a part of the passing game this Sunday than he was in the previous Sunday. Like I think that was purposeful. I think out of all the plays that we saw on offense on Sunday, we still didn't see a lot of screens. I think the Vikings ran like one screen on Sunday. I think that's purposeful because when you have a back, Aaron Jones, for all intents and purposes, Pat, is probably one of the best screen running backs there is in the game. And I think KOC and the fellas, they have to know that. And I think that was purposeful. They didn't show that last Sunday. So I expect Aaron Jones to have at least 3 to 4 catches within the string game to try to get him to explode down the field and get some big yards, because I think that's an area of the Minnesota Vikings that I know they worked on in training camp is that screen game, because it's been non-existent for the last couple of years under KOC. So I know they've been working on that. I was surprised initially when they didn't show it on Sunday, but I thought, okay, they're saving it, waiting for something. They didn't want to get all that on film, but I expect for them to come out with that screen game on Sunday.
Oh, definitely. I want to, not correct you, but how my feelings is it was non-existent last year. I think with Dalvin Cook in his first year, we did have some screen game going.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Yeah. So
Yep.
and Dalvin was good at it, but I think you're right. Like that was a fantastic job by keeping it in your pocket, KOC, right? This is probably the best running back that you've had, like a complete running back, I mean, I put him up there above Dalvin Cook. What I want to see is knowing that they're going to come out to try to stop him. What type of schemes up front do you have different so that he can be successful on the ground, right? So
Yeah.
that's something I'm really interested in looking at as well. But yeah, man, our depth, right? I'll just tell everybody, the gamblers out there, because Patrick Picks is coming up soon. The point spread opened at 7. It is moving down to 4 point. It is down to 4.5.
Yes.
What is that telling you right there?
Yeah.
It's telling you something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
couple of interesting tidbits before we get to Patrick Picks. Justin Jefferson, this is how good Jets is, man. And I didn't realize it. I saw the stats, so I said, okay, I've got to bring it on the air to give it to the UP and give it to Patrick. Did you know that Justin Jefferson needs 4 catches to become the 9th Minnesota Viking player of all time with 400 career receptions? And he needs 5 passes to pass Ahmad Rashad who's in the Vikings Ring of Honor. 5 catches, man, already in his young career.
in his 5th year.
Yeah, that's
He's top
sick.
9 in his 5th year. That says something. And we have had some wide receivers here, right?
Yep.
But for he's just special.
Yeah, he is, man.
He's
And-
special. And I'm gonna tell you this right now: those 5 catches gonna come on Sunday because
Yeah.
people are looking, and they had a purposeful game plan, and they didn't go against Jets. And I don't think he wanted to show much there either. Jets was okay with the 50-some yards and the touchdown because they know that game that he didn't need to, get 10 catches, 100 yards, and a touch.
Yeah.
He didn't need to. But for this one, he will. And they didn't show you a lot of different things. I think that's just smarter them for even that as well. So this is my stamp. I stamp that he gets the 5 catches on Sunday.
I will back that. And what's even scary about that, man, is again, I'm not going to throw shade on Kirk Cousins, even though I'm not a fan. Kirk Cousins is a legit quarterback in the league. He's had a good career. He's not trash. He's just not someone that's going to lead you to a championship. But he really, when you look at who has played quarterback for the Vikings since Justin Jefferson has been playing, the majority of it has been Kirk Cousins, but you saw the carousel last year. I mean, he really hasn't played with an elite guy yet. And for him to be where he is in terms of receptions and yards with the Minnesota Vikings, man, I just think it's truly amazing for that guy.
Oh, 100%, right? That's we sometimes they say quarterbacks make, receivers.
Yep.
And then that's the saying that some receivers make the quarterback. JJ's a receiver that can make a quarterback look real good.
Yeah.
Like, it's the reason why he's the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. Because he can make a quarterback look real good.
He can make him look real good. Pat, I think if you and I got out there and played quarterback and just threw the ball in his vicinity, he would make us look good out there playing quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings.
Man, it's funny if you listen to him, right? If everyone goes and listens to him, he tells Sam Darnold, just like he told Kurtz, it's like, listen, I don't give a damn if I'm double T. Put it in that area and let me go make a play, right? And I love listening to him saying how Sam is trusting that and putting the ball and learning, right? He said it's a difficult thing because quarterbacks have to trust that. But how Sam is starting to trust that I can go make that play happen, just put it in that area and I'll go make the plays.
Yeah, absolutely. Another interesting tidbit, Pat, is you remember the documentary Receiver on Netflix. This is the first time where Justin Jefferson, George Kittle, and Deebo Samuels will be on the field at the same time. Those 3 were featured in the documentary, but this will be the first time they'll be on the field for the first time since the documentary was made, competing together. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, Receiver was a good show. These are all 3 out of the 5 that were on there. These 3 are great talents, right? The other 2 are fantastic too as well. It's just, I mean, these are like, it's great to watch games when you're like, man, that's a stud. These are some studs, right?
Yep.
You're talking about, this is a game going to be full of some stars, right? Both will be missing one in Addison and McCaffrey, but you see, like you said, you got Debo and you got Kittle and you got Jefferson, you got Aaron Jones. This is just, of stars like that, and you got 2 quarterbacks who are just right for systems, playing, that they both can handle and manage it. If someone asked me, I'd say both of these quarterbacks, right? And we'll wait for Sam Darnold, but both of these quarterbacks aren't in the bottom tier. And we'll just let it play out before we can see it. So these are just quarterbacks that can go and get W's for you in different ways. So I love it. The receiver, it was fantastic to watch, but it's going to be more exciting to watch this game.
Talking about excitement, there was some excitement last year with the guy by the name of Joshua Dobbs, who is now the backup at San Francisco, the Pastronaut. I'm not going to even lie to you, Pat. I wanted it to work out with Joshua Dobbs so bad. I love that kid because I had been so anti Kirk Cousins for the longest time. You know that. You mentioned that. You and I used to have some spirited conversations about Kirk Cousins. And then you get this guy coming in, Josh Dobbs, and the way he came in, I mean, it was just like an avalanche or a volcano exploding, being able to be mobile in the backfield, making plays. And then as we know, it kind of crumbled and fizzled toward the end. Now he's with the San Francisco 49ers. Preseason looked pretty good, completed 66% of his passes, 34 for 51, 352 yards in the preseason. Plus, he had 6 runs, over 28 yards in the preseason. So he's still doing dynamic things. And the one thing that I won't allow people to say about Josh Dobbs, because again, I'm a fan, is that Josh Dobbs is like trash because of the way he ended up in Minnesota. Look, here's what I know about Josh Dobbs' career. He's been a playmaker. Albeit he's a backup in this league, but a really, really good backup. All these teams seem to keep trading for him. When he was with the Browns, the Arizona Cardinals traded for him. He won a big game against the Dallas Cowboys. Then the Minnesota Vikings traded for him, came into Minnesota, and he didn't get traded to San Francisco, but essentially, we traded Sam Darnold for him. We just kind of switched roles. So even though Josh Dobbs is not expected to play, of course, on Sunday, what are your thoughts and your memories about the way Josh Dobbs came in last year for the Minnesota Vikings?
Man, there's so many storylines for this 49ers game, ain't it, Coach? Right? You look at all the storylines. What do I remember from Joshua? I remember watching him in Arizona and watching how Arizona was putting up some points and numbers. The biggest thing that stands out to me is his creativity and how not B-Flow, but KLC was able to coach him through the first game on the headset. And for that man, I don't know what he was saying to him, but some of them tucks, he wasn't saying that to him, right? Some of them tucks, he wasn't saying that to him, So he was just showing his athleticism, being able to tuck. But I think he went and made plays, and I feel like as they were trying to put his head more into the playbook, it just took less away from his natural ability.
Agreed.
Right? That's a short term. Like if you had him through the whole off season, that would be a whole different thing because now you're seeing how he is, right? Because I looking at Sam take off a couple of times last week, and Sam's I'm gonna tell you this right now. Do not be shocked if Sam totals 400 rushing yards this season. Just don't be shocked.
Oh yeah, that's not out of bounds. That's
Right?
not out of bounds. That's a good call.
And I don't know if we had a quarterback top 100 yards though, Coach. So
Yeah.
so I just think that if he would have had an off season and that ability that he shows to use his legs to extend plays, unscripted plays, right, and move the chains, I think that would have helped out for him. But KOC's playbook is not easy, and everyone talks about that. So I think from coming in, that wasn't enough time to learn it. That became on his mind and took away things. But it was the first 2 games were very exciting. I can just tell you that. But that damn Chicago Bears game was the most boringest game I had seen in my damn entire life. That 3-0 game. That was out, and I was at that game.
You wanted your money back?
I don't pay for Vikings tickets, man. So, I'm just be honest with you. I don't pay for a Vikings ticket, man. I work right next door, man. I don't pay for a Vikings ticket. So I'm just being honest. But I
was waiting for you to say that.
I was just saying, I want my beer and my food back. Yeah, I wanted that back, but so it was. It was obviously the environment was great, but it was like, I done yawned a couple of times. It was kind of like that out there. And that was the game I remember you and I both talking about, like saying, okay, like we had the bye week, right? And I was like, okay, like KOC gonna put in the spread for him, right? He gonna get some running going in, right? Design run plays. And that didn't happen. I was super upset. But I got a chance to listen to KOC, and he did make sense, right? If people didn't hear him after the Dobbs, like he was like, I have to rewrite a whole in the middle of the season a playbook, like, and I had to just think about that, Coach. Just think about that. Think about you as a coach. Y'all running this system. Everyone knows it. One person doesn't know it as well as someone else. Now, this one person to rewrite what really fits him, right? everyone else is going to have to now play catch up, and one person is, to fit the one in the
Yeah, it's tough.
middle of the season, right?
Yeah,
That's
it's
a difficult thing. Like listening to him, like that's when I got off of that and was like, man, that shit makes sense,
yeah,
and
it's
it
tough.
just flipped it to my coaching, right? Like, man, you listen, a transfer comes in middle of the season. Hey, man, you got to get with this. I get that you that type of player, but this is our system. We'll find a way to mold you in here and coach you up as much as you can. So yeah, that's just my piece on that.
Yeah, man. I just wanted, for me, just selfishness, Minnesota Vikings fan, man. I wanted Josh Dobbs to work out so bad. I was so disappointed. He's such a genuine young man. I don't know if you ever saw his post-game press conferences, but he started it the same way every time. Hello, everyone. My name is Josh Dobbs. Like people didn't know who he was. Such a genuine guy, man. I wish him the best. I hope it works out for him. Whatever is etched in stone for his future. I just hope it works out for him because I just enjoyed his time here last year. Okay. It's time. Enough of that. Enough of the pregame stuff. We've said all we can say about that. Now we are at the part of the program, the segment that everybody's been waiting for. I've been getting a lot of good feedback. I've been getting some feedback from people that won a little bit of money last week because of Patrick's picks. But I got some comments that some of their tickets got messed up. That's the way gambling goes. I mean, you put money down. Patrick can't control all these things. I can't control all these things. He's just giving you the smart picks. He went 3-2 last week, so he's still above 500. We're gonna keep track of that. So we're gonna let Patrick do his thing. How many games you got for us, Pat?
I got 5, but I'm going all NFL on these 5 games.
All NFL, 5 picks. Again, let me say, Pat, before you get started, gamble responsibly. We are not responsible for you paying your mortgage and your car note and all that good stuff. So you got to be smart about what you're doing. All right, Patrick picks, we're up. Patrick, What's your first game? Give us your pick. Tell us why you picked it.
Yep, so my first game is the Bengals traveling over to the Kansas City Chiefs, right?
Okay.
In that game, there's so much to talk about. Everybody talks about, right? Like in the playoffs, Patrick Mahomes owns Joe Burrow, but Joe Burrow owns Patrick Mahomes, right? In the regular season. Well, I'm gonna tell you this right now, and this is the best defense Patrick Mahomes has ever been, and this is the best complete team Patrick Mahomes. Like that's what makes everything scary. This is the best team he has had, right? This is since Patrick Mahomes has been in Kansas City Chiefs. In my opinion, this is the best team he's had from top to bottom.
They're speedy and they got good defense.
Yeah, they got fantastic defense and they speedy, right? You add somebody else, right, on like Xavier Worthy out there. Pacheco's even, fantastic back there, coming within his second year. Obviously you got Kelsey there. Rashid Rice is going to be his guy. So I'm taking the Chiefs -6 in this game. I think, you're dealing with the T. Higgins injury. You're dealing with the drama they had with Chase. Chase is going to take a while to get into form. They're not going to look there. I still think they're dealing with that loss.
Yep.
Who wouldn't be dealing with that loss from New England last week? I just believe they start the season off 0-2, something they did 2 years ago as well. After they came off the Super Bowl, they started before they made a run late. And I think they're not going to start hitting their stride till later in the season. They start 0-2, Kansas City Chiefs at home, take care of business, open up the season 2-0 with 2 home games. So -6, the Chiefs.
Yeah, I got my notebook out. I'm jotting all these down. I need a little bit of extra money this weekend. Got the Chiefs in that -6. I like that pick. I totally agree with you. I think this is the best team that Pat Mahomes has been on, better than those Tyreek Hill teams as well. So I think you're absolutely right about that. So the Chiefs -6. What's your second pick?
Second pick is, and I'm going to just be honest, if I was any team, I would not go into Hard Knocks ever, right? I think there's a curse. There's a Hard Knocks curse, right?
Yeah.
And all the things that happened this offseason, with the New York Giants and being able to see that, and the reality that there's no Saquon Barkley. There is your rookie is your number one wide receiver. There are no throwing weapons, right? Uh, and Daniel Jones just is not the back. I believe the Giants coming into Washington Redskins. I think Capers, you know, Dan Quinn defense shows much better, right?
Yeah.
And their offense shows way better. The rookie Jaden Daniels, they can't stop him. He's going to run. He's going to throw a little bit more passing this week. We show that we can run against them. And I just think it becomes Daniel Jones is going to turn the ball over somehow, some way, and or loss of downs, right? I remember he threw pick six in the preseason and threw multiple picks, and I knew in that game we were going to get him for a pick six. I didn't know it was going to be from a linebacker, but I felt that the corner could get one. I'm gonna just share with you. It's a 1-point spread. The Commanders win that 1.5-point spread. Take the Commanders, they win that game. Even if it's by a field goal, they win that game at home. And the Giants start off 0-2. Daniel Jones, they're playing for the number one seed so they can get one of these fantastic quarterbacks coming out in this draft.
So you don't see any rebound from the Minnesota Vikings game, Giants, rally the troops and come in and take that game away from the Commanders.
No, because there's this reality about Daniel Jones that's out there, and that's in the locker room as well, right? Yeah. That is in the locker room. That's who he is. He's not a great quarterback, and everyone knows that, and everyone knows what they probably should have done, but they just did it in reverse order. They went and got their wide receiver before their quarterback, and they couldn't move up. So I get it. Wait for next year and have the number one pick, but they are going to have the number one or number two pick in the NFL, and they know that. And they're okay with that. That's why they're going to leave him in there, because that money's going to come off the books. He will not win them football games at all. He is by far the worst quarterback in the NFL.
Okay, I like that pick. I like that pick. I was toying around with that game for Lionel's lock, but I went another direction. Okay, so you got the Chiefs. Take the Chiefs. Take the Washington Commanders. What's your third pick? What do you got?
I came in this year and I talked about that. I believe, and this is the Colts and the Packers game, and I thought the Packers were going to be a great thing. And it's unfortunate, right? We dealt with it last year, so quarterbacks go down, right?
Yeah,
it's unfortunate for them. There was a lot of great things that I was able to see in that Colts game last week. I know the Packers started off 0-1. I don't know that the coach can game plan this without a quarterback, right? This is going to be a tough one. This is Anthony Richardson is really going to make it tough on them. If I'm not mistaken, they're underdogs by 2.5 points. The Colts are. I believe the Colts go in here with fashion, and you see things out of Malik Willis. You're going to try to do everything within Josh Jacobs, because as soon as Malik Willis has to make the plays, it's going to be trouble for him. I do wish the brother the best of luck, but I'm just being honest. The Colts go into Green Bay. I think they still a win, but I'm taking the Colts at plus 2.5 points.
Is there any part of you that's concerned about the whole Malik Willis thing in terms of the Colts don't really have a whole lot of intel on him? I mean, the guy hasn't played. He's in a new system. We saw with Josh Dobbs, last year coming in and, not really knowing the playbook or anything. They really didn't have a whole lot of film on what he could do with the Minnesota Vikings. Does that come into play at all in this football game?
I think what is going to come into play is Joshua Dobbs' game experience is not even comparable when it comes to Malik Willis. And Malik Willis' game experience, by seeing multiple looks up front in the defense, I think that's where he lacks in. I knew coming out of Liberty, the kid could play. He dropped in the draft, which blew me away. But when he came out of Liberty, I thought he could really play. And, he's never got his opportunity. They drafted quarterback after him. Will Levis got it. So that even says to me, like you were drafted, and a year later they drafted another quarterback. He ends up now he's the starting quarterback. I just don't think you spent your money on your quarterback. You gave the $55 million man his money, right? But that leaves you with a quarterback that you have right now because you would have never thought he was going down. Green Bay doesn't hit their stride till later. They lose this game, but I'm taking the 2.5 points. You ain't even got to take 2.5 points. You can alter that to -3 for the Colts or -2.5, and I still feel good about that game.
Okay, so we got the Chiefs, we got the Washington Commanders, and then we got the Indianapolis Coach. 3 games from Patrick Picks. Patrick, what's your 4th game?
If anybody looked at the game between the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers, and you was like, "Oh, the Saints you was crazy." Okay, the Cowboys are going to cover the 6 points in this game. Do not get alarmed. Don't jump on the Derek Carr bandwagon or whatever. Alvin Kamara will have a good game, but there's something always in his first year, always as a defense coordinator. Mike Zimmer is a hell of a defense coordinator. Even though I may not like things that he did here when it came to at the end of his tenure, I understand why he did some things, but some things I wish he would have been better. But
yeah, he's a hell of a defensive coach.
Right. You can't take it when his first tenure in Dallas, right, to his time in Cincinnati, time here, time everywhere he's been, right? He's a hell of a defense coach, and they already have defensive players over there. I think people are going to be blown away and jump off that wagon from what the 40-something points that New Orleans put up in that game versus the Panthers, right? I take the Cowboys. I'm not a Cowboys fan, I'm not a Jerry Jones fan, but they do cover the 6 points.
Wow, so the Cowboys are starting the season off 2-0 with Dak Prescott. You got the Chiefs, the Washington Redskins, Indianapolis Colts, and the Dallas Cowboys for 4 out of the 5 of Patrick picks. We're now going to game 5. Patrick, what do you got?
And what I got for you is the people that trusted or took this, maybe took a couple of games and maybe did a 3-leg parlay. So I want you sweating. I want you just waiting and sweating. So Sunday night football, right?
Okay. Oh, so you gonna go into the evening. You're gonna make them wait until the evening.
I gotta put it to the evening. So for my final pick, Chicago travels to Houston.
Okay, I can't wait for this one.
Houston Texans covered the 6.5 that it is right now versus Chicago. Something that I saw last week, and I know his first game or whatever, but that he did not move the ball offensively, and DeMeco Ryans is going to pin back on you, Caleb. I'm just sorry. DeMeco's a stud, and he's going to pin back, and that defensive crew is going to be nasty. I know that was Will Levis you was playing against. This is C.J. Stroud now. And C.J. Stroud with all the weapons. Oh, my goodness, Joe Mixon looked fantastic last week, Coach. But then he's got Schultz, and he's got his 3 wide receivers in Collins, Dales, and Diggs. I just think it becomes too much for Chicago. I think they come home after that close win in Indianapolis. They come home fashion and really take care of business with the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I like that pick. So now, Pat, I'm gonna put you on the spot, man. I'm gonna put you on the spot. If there is someone out there that's looking to put some dimes down on the game this weekend, NFL Sunday, if there was 3 games that you could combine for a 3-game parlay out of your 5 picks, which way would you go with that?
The 3 games that I would take out of this, I would for surely take the Cowboys and the Texans at home. And my third one out of those, I'm going back and forth between which one I feel more of. I love them both. But between the Commanders and the Chiefs, I mean, you can't go wrong either way, but I'm going to say the Commanders at home. That 1.5 points, right?
Yep.
I'm going to just say, right, because, Joe Burrow has had the number. Could that be a field goal game? That's a little rivalry that started, but I take the Commanders, to go with the Texans and the Cowboys.
All good picks, man. You got the Chiefs, You got the Washington Commanders, Indianapolis Colts, Dallas Cowboys, and the Texans for your 5 picks. There you have it. You've got Patrick picks. I hope everybody out there has really, really good luck this weekend. I think those are 5 fantastic picks from Patrick.
Yeah.
Good job, Patrick.
Thank you. Hey, so once again, I get back to everybody in the UP. If you would have read the comments right after I made my picks last week, I took the New England game and the Cincinnati New England game. I said take it off, and I said take the Vikings. Right?
Yes.
So that's what I did. In this moment right now, there were some things that came up on the injury report and that I got to reading and stuff. So it forced me to do that. I am telling you right now, right? I'm 3-0 if you take off that in the NFL. I'm telling you right now, take the 3, whatever. I'm going to put all 5 of them in a parlay, but I got other stuff that I deal with, right, as well when mine. But I'm going to put this 5 in a parlay and see what happens. Why can I not do it if I'm going to send it out to you guys to do it? I'm going to do it, right? I'm not telling you guys to make a 5-leg parlay in this, but I am going to, right? Just because I'm going to do it every week to see how it works, how it figures.
Yeah, I know you're talking to the UP because you don't have to tell me. I know when it comes to the NFL. That's why I call you the sports guru, because I know you know what the heck you're doing. The UP still have to learn you. So I'm telling you, by 8 weeks, if you listen to this guy in terms of his pick, nobody's going to be 100%. But if you listen to Patrick and his picks, you're going to make a little bit of change. So make sure when we have these Patrick pick segments, you guys tune in on the UP. Now we'll hit Lionel's locks. I've been scouring everywhere for a Lionel lock game, and I had about 6 games that I was looking at. I was going to go, some NFL games, but nothing really looked good to me in terms of a lock. So I did find a lock. Last week, I was right on my lock, the Dallas Cowboys defeating the Browns in their home opener. The Browns never play good in their home opener. I liked Dallas defense, and I wasn't sold on Deshaun Watson, so I knew how that game was going to turn out. My lock this week is a college football game. And this is what I'm going to go with. You can book this. You can lock it up. The game that I'm going to lock up is Notre Dame versus Purdue. Notre Dame is coming off of an embarrassing loss at home to Northern Illinois University. I believe in their coaching staff. I believe in their coach. And I believe that this week in practice, I guarantee you that coaching staff focused them a little bit. There was a certain type of energy in practice this week. I guarantee you from the coaches. They cannot come out and lay an egg against Purdue. This is also kind of a rivalry game, with the Irish and Purdue. So that has a little bit more intensity. Pressure is either going to bust a pipe or it's going to create diamonds. And I think Notre Dame's quarterback, the transfer from Duke, he's got to play well. This coach doesn't want to lose this game. So I'm not saying he's coaching for his job, but he doesn't want to start off 1-2 with a loss to Purdue and a loss to Northern Illinois. The line is 7.5 right now for Notre Dame. And Notre Dame is going to cover that. It's going to be a double-digit win for Notre Dame. I think they're going to come in and be a little bit more focused. They're going to get after Purdue. And I think essentially it's going to be a blowout. So Lionel's lock this week is Notre Dame. Take Notre Dame and the -7.5 over the Purdue Boilermakers. You can book it, lock it up. That's Lionel's lock.
That's not a bad lock. I mean, after watching that, people be like, oh man, Freeman, what's going on over there, And which I think is one of the best defenses in the country. And they're lucky that's just one there, and they're gonna have to win out to get into that 12, and they can do that because they got some matchups that'll allow them to move back up. But if that defense isn't they got pros on their defensive side. And if they don't come and show up, it's going to be bad. But I like that as a Lionel lock. Where's that game at, Coach? Is that in
That
South
game
Bend?
is at Purdue.
At Purdue. Oh,
Yep.
that's going to be a good game. Hey, they ain't traveling too far. So,
No.
you know,
Yeah.
that's a good pick. I like that. I got that.
Yeah,
I got
it's Notre Dame better not lose that game. Or else
hey, they can't lose. That's your lock. It's a lock. They can't lose. It's a lock.
boy, listen, man. South Bend, it will be in an uproar if they lose that game.
Freeman gone. They lose that game.
Yeah. So they got to play well. I think they'll bounce back, man. I think their game against Northern Illinois was an anomaly. So, I don't think that was the true Notre Dame team. So I think they're going to bounce back this game. That's why I picked it as a lock. Pat, anything left for the UPers out there?
No, I mean, we had a good show here, hour-long show. Hopefully you got a chance to enjoy the show, our preview, the picks, the locks. So, I'm just excited for Sunday. It's week 2. I'm not going to jump too much into it right now. I'm trying to keep myself kind of even keel about the game. And it's kind of like it's one of them things, Coach, right? Like the first game, it was this build-up anticipation, but then I didn't want to get too, like I just wanted to see the flow up, see how it played. And, I got comfortable when it came to the fourth quarter. This is one of them games again where, okay, it's about consistency right now. So what does this look like? So I'm in a chill state of mind right now to see.
Yeah.
But enjoy the game.
Yeah. UP Nation, remember, post-game, Minnesota Vikings post-game, we will start at 8 p.m. on Sunday. We will be live at 8 p.m. on Sunday, so make sure you come out and join us. Put some questions in the comments. We would love to engage with you, have a conversation about the game, celebrating another Minnesota Viking win. Also, this Sunday, we are going to have the rap star Latray will be on the pod with us, talking a little bit of Minnesota Vikings as well. He's a big-time Minnesota Vikings fan all the way from Portland, Oregon. He will be joining Unconventional Playbook, so we are definitely looking forward to that. Continue to hit that like and subscribe button. We're over 19,000 subscribers, and we keep growing and growing every day, and we would not be anything without you guys out there. So continue to support us, continue to give us the comments and the questions and the email, and we definitely appreciate the love. Pat, what else you got going for the weekend, man? Anything before we wrap it up?
Got out to some basketball, got soccer games, pay attention to. I got some stuff, but it's the weekend. Football is becomes the focal point for me, but I'm gonna get out in the sun and enjoy some of that though as well.
Absolutely. I would just like to wish a happy anniversary to my lovely wife, Nicole. This is our anniversary weekend, so I'm going to have to put a lot of the college football games on DVR because Nicole and I are going to go out and do some things. But I'm very fortunate, man, to have a wife that supports me in whatever I decide to do. So happy anniversary to her. We'll see the UP back on Sunday evening with the Vikings post-game show. On behalf of Patrick Buchanan and myself, Lionel Jones, we will see you when we see you. Latray, take us home.
I don't know who I am. Can I say I'm a man? Am I losing my mind? Am I wasting my time? Do I know who I am?